So there's some new speculation running around on the rumor mill that we might have uncovered the reason, or one of the many reasons, for Bitcoin to have been collapsing so much and for the manipulation to have been incredibly rife over the last, few months. We've seen massive amounts of manipulation. Now, as you know, here on this channel, I actually base a lot of my trades around trying to do the same thing that the manipulators are probably going to do next. But we're going to jump into all of that in this video. I'm going to update you guys on the trade that I opened with you here on the channel yesterday, plus all of the news, information, macro, and all of that good stuff. So do me a favor, if you like to stay up to date with crypto every single day, all I ask is that you hit that subscribe button. So right now we see Bitcoin at 65,400. I entered into this Bitcoin long yesterday. Now there's $16,000 of profit in this position. Now an interesting thing is happening. Are we coming up to retest this area, right? Whether or not we call it a bear flag, symmetrical triangle, whatever it is, right? There is going to be resistance here. So we came up 66,003. We're at 65,004 right now. And what I'll probably do here is just move my stop loss into break even and then see if I can ride this a little bit higher. We even have someone who has been very bang on with his predictions so far, saying Bitcoin is back above the $65,000 level. A daily close above this could push Bitcoin to 70 to 72,000 in the coming weeks. This is Ted Pillows. And I think it's important to realize that he's not in this saying that that would be the end of the bear market, a reversal onto new all-time highs. He's talking about a potential bounce. And these potential bounces are what is normal. And we've seen time in and time out, even in this, what people call a horrible market, right? It has been destruction in the crypto market, specifically Bitcoin as well as altcoins, right, since October 10. But even in this push to the downside, we've had multiple big scary moments where we've gone down and then bounces to the upside. 12% here. We had another 20% there. We had our recent trade I did on the channel here where I made $18,000 profit, 20%. And right now, of course, it's too early to count this as one of the big moves to the upside, but we're up about 5%. Now, I like to catch these bounces. That's what I really enjoy trading. And it's just one of the strategies that I like to use. People often say, Connor, don't you get sick of going long and being wrong in this market? But it's crazy because I close the trade, right? I close out profit or I move it into break even when we have these moves to the upside. And of course, it's not 100% a winning strategy. No strategy is 100%. But these are the kind of profits that I like to see. And we're in a bear market and I'm still managing to do this sort of thing. So I think that it's a strategy that still works well. Now, how did I enter this? How did I enter the last trade that made $18,000? Well, it's simple. I look at a few data sets and then basic support, resistance, and patterns, right? So what we saw here was we saw a big push to the upside and a lot of long positions came into the market. We can see it using the data over here. And this is exactly the data that I showed yesterday for my thesis as to why I was going to try and catch the bounce long, which so far has worked. It might not stay profitable. We'll see in the next couple of hours or days. But this is the data that I looked at. Now, if I refresh this, I'm going to assume, yes, the shorts have come down about $1 billion and the longs are now starting to pile in. We've almost doubled the longs, adding about $1 billion worth of long positions right here. Now, the actual numbers, right, it's not guaranteed that those will be liquidated. It's more so just seeing where the market is rallying, or where the market, sorry, better use of terminology, where the market is, or what the market is expecting to happen next. And then simply using the idea, okay, well, there's mass manipulation in this market. So if the general market or general retail market is doing one thing, the manipulators are going to do the opposite to make sure that they become liquidity, right? They want the retail traders to become liquidity. So they do the opposite of what the retail traders, or they move the market opposite to what the retail traders are doing. Again, not 100% foolproof strategy, but it's something that I've noticed has been working very well. The more manipulation, the more I can try and figure out what the majority are doing and then what these manipulators, whales, institutions, whoever they are, might do next. So that's how we caught this using the Bitcoin exchange liquidation map. The reason why I closed the last trade, right, in that profit was because we actually got the long positions basically even with the shorts. That shows me that now retail is undecided. So that means that probably the manipulation, if it's being forced upwards or being forced downwards, is going to subside, right? And that's why I closed the position. So right now, I actually feel quite confident in this position, quite confident in a bounce being allowed to happen. Now, it might all sound like a bit of fugazi, and it very much might be a bit of fugazi, but this is how I'm seeing the market right now and how I'm trying to catch different plays. Let's talk about the macro. Let's talk about the news and let's talk about what might be moving the market right now. So first of all, gold and silver have been surging upwards as President Trump's 10-day Iran deadline approaches. This is showing us that the market is pricing in uncertainty around this. That's why the money would be flowing into gold, being up 2.31% in 17 hours. Now, on top of that, we also see strategy is now the world's shortest stock, right? As sentiment flips amid 9.5 billion in Bitcoin-related paper losses. Do you know what this reminds me of? I'm not saying it is the bottom of the bear. As you know, I have a DCA strategy all the way down to about 25K, right? But this reminds me of what it's like in close to, if not the bottom of bear markets. That doesn't mean we can't go down 50% more, but strategy being the most shorted stock, the world's most shorted stock, that tells me one thing in particular, that the majority believe the downside is more likely than the upside. So I'm going to take the opposite side of that bet. How do I take the opposite side of that bet? It's just DCAing into Bitcoin. I'm not buying MicroStrategy here. However, buying MicroStrategy in the last bear market turned out to be significantly more profitable if you did sell in euphoria than just buying Bitcoin. So again, buying Bitcoin, buying strategy, buying crypto adjacent stocks, whatever, leverage plays, whatever, buying these in mass fear, right, has in the history of Bitcoin's life cycle been a great time to accumulate. Taking profits in euphoria has been a great time. This is a tried and tested method that has worked. The funny thing is the crypto greed and fear index hit euphoria in November 2024. Bitcoin wasn't at its all-time highs, but remember, crypto, we did have massive meme seasons, billion-dollar meme coins. We did have an alt season with those memes, but also with things like XRP, Solana, Sui. So again, buying in extreme fear in 2022, selling in euphoria in 2024. Now we're back down to the lowest levels Bitcoin and crypto have ever seen on the crypto fear and greed index. Again, this is not a guaranteed strategy to print money. No, but this is data that I have to pay attention to, and I base my strategies around this data. We base this data, we look at it in the history, and we try and figure out what may happen in the future. Whether or not Bitcoin goes up or down, I have my strategy. And guys, I'll see you in the next one. Make sure you're subscribed. Peace.